6 months ago, I made a video which was titled something like, Let's Make More Art in 2024. Guess what? I've actually been following my own advice and I have been making more art in 2024. And one of the reasons is because I've not been focusing on social media, but I have been missing this YouTube channel, so I thought let's do a comeback and let's show you some of the art that I've been making over the last 6 months. This is the first notebook that I started when I first came to London. By the way, I moved to London, so I made a whole video about that. I filmed it and everything, and then I just never uploaded it. Okay, back to the program. So this is just like a sketchbook that I've been using to, document some of the stuff that I've seen around London. This is like a park in East London. These are just some sky sketches that I did. This is the Cutty Sark, I believe. It's the ship in Greenwich. This is the Greenwich Palace. This is a tube. It's just kind of like trying to ease in to sketching and urban sketching again, because I feel like I've kind of fallen off the bandwagon here. These are some sketches I did in Scotland, which were quite interesting. More Scotland sketches. In Edinburgh specifically. And this was like in the coast in Dundee, or near to Dundee anyway. Scotland was really nice. And also in between I went to India and came back, so there's a couple of India sketches in here. You can see the vibrancy. We went up to the mountains, that was quite nice. Lots of trees, more trees. Oh, and this is just some family sketches, which are quite nice as well. This is several of us sitting under the moonlight. Literally was like this. It was such a cute scene. Anyway, it's just some on location sketches, which were quite nice as well. But the interesting thing about these last 6 months has been that I've not just been doing urban sketching, but I've actually been exploring more kind of, what would you call it, intuitive art, or art that's been more personal and maybe a bit more abstract, but also thinks a lot about feelings. And I think that was probably due to the writing and drawing course that I took. It's a simultaneous writing drawing course that I took at the Royal Drawing School in the first half of this year. And that's actually been really helping me because I journal and I draw, but now I've started to combine the two together. So that's been really exciting practice as well, which I'm going to show you a bit later. This is like a watercolor sketchbook that I made before I left Dubai to come to London, and then I started it in London. I was really shaky. I just was not confident, I think, and so that you can kind of tell a bit in the sketches. They're not great. But yeah, then I took this skies class with London Drawing Group, and this is just some of the results. It was really nice. It was basically inspired by paintings by J.M.W. Turner, who is, I think he's in the Tate Britain. I've yet to go and see his paintings, but I've seen a few and they're absolutely gorgeous, his skies. And so they were teaching us some techniques on how to kind of achieve those skies, with like rubbing things out with tissue and being really light. And, like this, for example, is absolutely gorgeous. To be honest, I can't even remember how to recreate this technique, which is a bit of a shame, but let's see. This was a sunset. It's kind of creepy, but it's a sunset that I saw in real life, and this is just another practice. But yeah, beautiful skies. This is a cherry blossom tree outside my house that I'm currently in. When I first moved in, I was just experimenting with media. And that's another thing I've been doing, is I've been experimenting a lot with mixed medias and different types of media, and that's been really fun as well. This is the neighborhood cat. Isn't she adorable? And then more skies, and yeah, that's just some color studies. And this painting is a very mysterious painting. It just appeared in my sketchbook and no one seems to be taking credit for it. It's not me. So it's either my husband or my sister-in-law, and neither can remember, so there's that. So this is an A4 sketchbook that I bought recently. I've actually not been using A4 that much. For some reason I didn't really like the size for a very long time, and then since I moved back to London I started finding A5 a bit small, so I bought this A4 sketchbook. So this is the first page. I quite like this one. It was literally just using children's felt tip pens. I do have a video or something about children's marker pens. I really like them. I think they're great. And this was the time when I first moved to London, so I didn't have any of my art supplies with me. So I went to a shop and I just bought like these £1 kids markers and I made this with them. And I really actually like this piece. I think it's so vibrant, so amazing. Obviously the room was not this colourful, but I think that's great. I think, you know, I was working with the constraints I had, and yeah, I think it just looks really cool. Yeah, this was me. I'm going to show this to you because this kind of shows you how lost I was. I didn't really know where this was going. So this was the first day of the drawing class that I went to. She was getting us to draw kind of like our current selves or our worst selves and then our best selves. And I didn't really know what was happening, but I feel like this kind of, looking back on it now, this kind of encompasses the mood and tone of my subsequent artworks and the things that I continue to make. It's kind of this parallel between dark and light, colourful, not colourful. And that is really perfectly shown in this spread, which I kind of just pulled out after, I think, the first week of that class. It really just came out, and this is kind of just snippets of my life, really random thoughts, and I'm really like interested and intrigued actually by how I was just able to capture this in like a comic book. Really cool, I think. And yeah, and then, you know, I started doing more of this. This is kind of like a story that I thought of as I was coming home from the tube. It's about not wanting to go home, I think, because I've been living alone for the last several months. It's been good, but it's not been amazing either. So, you know, that this is kind of capturing that. Yeah, and then it says having to face myself alone. I mean, it's really cool. I really like the style of it. And just whilst we're on this, in this sketchbook, this was an A5 sketchbook that I brought with me. There was some prior sketches that I did with charcoal. This was like a dream that I had actually, and I just captured it really nicely, I think, if I do say so myself. So yeah, this is kind of like the precursor to these sketches, I suppose. There was something else as well I think I did. Yeah, this is more sketches. There was one in London Bridge. I think it was somewhat... Yeah, these were some other sketches. These are like vignettes from London. This is one from London Bridge. I really like this. Yeah, there was this kind of mood captured there. These two are not actually in the background, but I just added them there to kind of show that it is London. Yeah, I really like the overall composition. I think it's really cool. But that's to say that I was exploring this technique. This was in December time, when obviously it's dead of winter, really grey, really dark and dull, and I thought this medium suited that kind of atmosphere really well. And so that hence all the charcoal drawings. This is kind of stuff that I was thinking about during therapy and meditation, things like that. And yeah, I kind of have to tread a bit carefully with these pages, but I suppose I can just blur it out. Or just skip them. Yeah, and so you can see I'm starting to combine a lot of writing and drawing. There's a lot of things that I'm kind of working through as I'm making this art, so it's very therapeutic for me as well. You know, kind of talking about my relationship with my husband and things like that. As you can see here, I started cutting out excerpts from my journal and sticking them in, which was really interesting. Again, this is the light, dark, colourful, not colourful dynamic. Yeah, dynamic, which, you know, we can kind of just compare it with oh, where is it? You can kind of just like compare the two here, which is kind of cool, actually. I mean, this is cool for me as well, because I'm getting to like, you know, compare and contrast and see how things bounced off of each other over the last several months. Just some random sketches, some random kind of diagrammatic work. Yeah, more. I think these are more like exploratory sketches, which could potentially be turning into a bigger piece. That was kind of the intention of this. This was like kind of a spread that I did about my husband and I and our long distance relationship, and yeah, that's what this writing is about, and what the whole kind of cyclical nature of it is. Like, we're together, or we were together, and then we're apart, and now we're together again, or we'll be together again. yeah, I feel like that's the good thing about art and exploring different things and exploring different workshops and trying things, is that you can really find new ways to express yourself, and that's really what I found with this class. Yeah, as you can see, this was kind of the theme of the last several months. Um, it was just really, it's been really interesting, and it's been to be able to kind of break out of what I knew of like urban sketching and just drawing exactly what I'm seeing, to doing this, doing something that's like so out of my comfort zone, and just, but it has been really beneficial to like get it out of me, and not posting on social media, not having the pressure to post on social media meant that I could really draw things that I would probably not be comfortable drawing normally, because I'd have that pressure behind me of like, oh, this needs to be shared for social. Let's move on to, this is some life drawing that I started doing. I've actually really been enjoying life drawing. We did a couple of sessions in our drawing class, and then I've done some life drawing sessions outside of it as well. Love it. I think it's amazing. It's not something I've done before, and yeah, I've really been enjoying it. So these are just some of the online drawing sessions that I did, and yeah. And then I started to do more like journaling, drawing in this sketchbook. This was me moving house. As you can see, this is the cherry tree that we saw earlier. Let's pull it up. Maybe, I can't remember where it was actually. Oh yes, here. Yeah, there you go. There's the cherry tree. Really nice comparison there. There's a lot of really big work that I did as well during the class. I worked on really like big A1 sheets and things, A0 maybe as well. And I won't talk through them, but I'll just kind of briefly show you them. That was really freeing as well, to be able to draw in such a big scale after such a long time, because I think the last time I drew that big was during architecture school, and even then that was for, very structural, architectural, boring drawings. So it's been good to draw that big and be that freeing, I think. And then these are more London Drawing Group classes that I did online. They're online, by the way. You do have to pay for them, but they're kind of pay what you can classes, and they're amazing. I think they're so good. They normally have recordings as well. I tend to do the recordings more than the live class. But this was Drawing Spring, which I really enjoyed, because it was my first spring after a very, very long time, because I was in London. So yeah, so this was me kind of, taking inspiration from the class and mark making, and this was so amazing and so fun, actually. And I did, a lot of drawings subsequent to this, based on this. And actually, there's another sketchbook that I want to kind of run through in tandem with this. So, going back to the cherry tree, we got a lot of these cherry trees. Let me just run back a few pages, maybe several pages. So we got this window here that I eventually painted. Which is quite nice. Can you see it? Yeah. So this is also what I did. This is also what I did after the class. In tandem, trying it on this cardie paper. This sketchbook is a handmade sketchbook that a friend gifted me. Absolutely amazing. Love it. This is St. Pancras International Station, or outside of it anyway. And there's this pink Ferrari that's always there. It's really strange, but it seems to be a thing. So I captured that. This is going back to the sketch that I did. Yeah, this is this one. So you can see I'm kind of jumping between mediums, between sizes, trying to figure out what's more kind of true to, not life, but to what I felt like it was like, or what the emotion was, or what I wanted to capture in the piece. And I kind of feel like this, I think I did this first, or maybe did I do the second? I can't remember, to be honest. I think I did this. Oh, actually, it doesn't matter, does it? The point being, I actually really preferred this one because of the vibrancy of the colours. I felt like this was kind of muddied. It's lovely, it's nice in its own way, but it's definitely more subdued. It's more kind of rainy day vibes, whereas this one is more springy, more kind of like, oh look, it's starting to get better, and there's little doggies. I mean, that's what they are. They're not supposed to be sheep, they're supposed to be dogs. And there's this like really wide sloping not lawn, it was like a hill, I suppose, with all these like trees that are about to bloom, and it was just really nice. And they're two different vibes, and I love them both. But yeah, I probably prefer this as well because it was a bit more freeing, and it's also larger as well. And these are some flowers and things that I saw as well on the way as spring was springing, and I was experimenting more with mediums. There's these paint sticks that I found called tempera paint sticks. They're amazing. Absolutely love them. They're so handy. They're actually for kids as well, but like I said, kids art materials are the best because they're just so easy to use, so versatile, and just so, I mean, they are really bright, and kind of, if that's not your aesthetic, then that's probably not going to be suitable for you, but I personally love them. So yeah, so that's kind of where this is going. This is another lovely piece that I did of my friend as we were walking, having like a spring walk. So yeah, for now, let's move on to, these are some kind of sketchbooks, I suppose you can call them, that I made during the drawing class. So they're basically just concertina sketchbooks, and they are really fun. I really enjoyed this medium. And there's some interesting things that I made. This is the first one I made, I think. Just move all this aside. This was the first one I made. This was actually my bedroom in Dubai, the last time I left it. Almost all of this stuff is here now. It's all in London now, including this ring light, which is what I'm filming this with right now. So basically this room is actually probably empty of all my stuff. But yeah, it was really nice to be able to kind of capture this entire room through this medium, and like, it was just so fulfilling and freeing, and you can see all the writing in between, kind of like a journal. I didn't do anything on the other side, but there are several others that I made. Yeah, so you can, you know, again, it's more personal stuff. You know, just like stuff about India and stuff about our relationship, and yeah, it's nice. It was a really nice way to express myself. There's quite a few actually. This is more of the skies from the Turner class, just experimenting with marks. Perhaps not so successful, but still interesting, still cool. Yeah, and there's a nice quote here that I think I just wrote. To make art any kind, one has to learn to let go, and this is one such attempt at doing so. And skies are one of the reasons I love the UK. Yeah, I think the clouds make the UK skies so immensely beautiful. So many insane colours, and yeah, I don't think this is a realistic sky, but regardless, it could be somewhere. And then this was actually my engagement. I kind of drew my engagement, which was a couple of years ago now, which was interesting and funny. It was funny that it came out actually as my husband asking me, "Are you sure?" He asked me that about several times. Yeah, so yeah, it's quite nice actually. So these are just some of the concertina sketchbooks, and now I wanted to get into the journal that I started. So at about, let me check what the date was, 15th of March. So that was, I think, when the drawing class, it was a couple of weeks from finishing. So this is a journal. This is just a black journal. I did not expect at all. Normally the way I do journals is I literally just write in them. I have several journals of just writing. I never go back and look at them. I never read them. I have no interest in doing so. Every so often I do, but it's just not interesting enough to me. But this journal, I think, has probably changed the game now. Because now I started to actually draw in these journals. So I've kind of been taking what I've been doing in my sketchbooks and I started drawing. So yeah, this is the first real proper drawing I did. And I've put like stickies where I've got drawings that are of meaning or of consequence to me in the future as well. So like this one, think of the infinite void of darkness. I think this was an image that came up during a meditation, which is interesting because that is now a bit of a theme that I'm finding. Just, yeah, you know, just random drawings. I really like them. The perks and perils of working from home. Wow, I could talk about that for hours. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know if I have ever made art purely for me, not for the sake of social media, not for the sake of a teacher or for a grade, or whatever, you know, like it's always been about something else, and really finding that connection to art and to myself, it's been amazing. And I really cannot stress enough how important the time away from social media, or the time that I'm still taking away from social media, will just continue to flourish. And I think it's just, anyway, whatever. I'm rambling now, so I'm gonna stop. This is one about PMS. I feel like this is really relatable to women. And I did a bigger version of this, but I feel like it didn't capture the mood as much. Probably because I was being quite stiff and like quite less free and, you know, just letting go. And I think that's what this journal does really well, is it really allows me to just kind of be free and do what I want and not feel like I'm wasting paper or wasting materials or anything, because it's just going to stay shut in my journal. And that's kind of a shame, because the stuff that I make in the journal is like the best stuff, and it's just so freeing and you know, whatever. But I guess that's just something I need to practice, is drawing on bigger material and you know, kind of taking this stuff and actually putting it out into the real world, putting it out and packaging it in a way that's actually consumable for other people. Enough rambling. I think that's kind of this is just a collage of bits that I did on the last page. Different things from India, from Barcelona, which I'll get into. And I did a lot of poetry towards the end as well, because I attended a poetry class or poetry night, and we did some poetry. And it's really, really nice, really interesting. And this is just another writing workshop that I did. I kind of collaged the bits and pieces from it. Really nice. I love this page. I think it's great. I mean, I'll just kind of go through the subsequent journal, which I've started. This is 8th of June. I finished that on the 8th of June or the 7th of June, whenever. And this is one that I've started, and I've been doing a lot of meditations. These are artworks that I saw in the Tate Modern, and I started writing and drawing around them and things like that. And so this is all those artworks. This is stuff that I've been doing after meditations that I've been doing. This was a cute little drawing I did of me on my 26th birthday and me on my 6th birthday. I kind of want to make this into like a painting. I think that would be a cute painting, as a gift to myself. Yeah, I love this piece. I think this is great. Again, another thing that, you know, during meditation these images kind of come up during the meditation, and as soon as I'm done with it, I kind of come straight to the journal and I draw it. So this is literally made like on the day of, you know, this is some meditation stuff. Yeah, this was kind of an idea I had of like someone, or me, I suppose, living inside my own heart and what is inside my heart and things like that. That's more of an anatomically correct drawing of this. I realised it wasn't correct. Yeah, I quite like this one. These are some more images that came up actually in today's meditation, but I didn't get a chance to draw them down properly, so I just drew them down here. Yeah, some other stuff. And yeah, that's kind of, this journal is still a work in progress, so I've not really progressed much with this one, but that's kind of the era of abstract art-ish. And finally, let's finish on some urban sketching, but moving still in the energy of, you know, abstract art and being a bit more free and flowing with the art. We went to Barcelona for a weekend, and I did art, obviously. And it was a bit outside of my standard urban sketching ilk, so this was the sketchbook that I took with me. I also took this concertina sketchbook, which I was not fully able to finish. I started it actually there, but then I started to continue it when I came back. It's not been something that I have been able to finish, but I think you kind of get the gist of it. And this, let me just keep this up here whilst I show you this sketchbook. So this is the sketchbook that I took whilst we were like out and about. And I really wanted to do actually like a Barcelona supplies video, because I was able to fit everything in those little bum bags that you get from Uniqlo that everyone's carrying these days. And I really wanted to show you like how I can do that, because I feel like urban sketching travel supplies that people show on camera, like what they take is like a whole backpack of stuff. And I'm like, girl, I have back pain. I cannot be doing that, okay? So anyways, that's for another video. Let me know if you're interested, if you've even got this far. So what I was doing, these were all just practice sketches of like what colors and mediums I wanted to take with me. And this is the actual first day. This is kind of a bit more standard. This is me just kind of trying to warm up as I was there on location. And then this is me drawing some of the paintings that were in the National Museum of Art in Catalonia. National Art Museum, Catalonia, whatever. Yeah, this is just, again, there's a lot of experimentation in the sketchbook, and I call it a sketchbook. It's actually a notebook, but I really like the size of this, and so that's why I took it with me. And again, because all of these are notebooks, including my journals, I found that it was just a lot more freeing for me to do whatever the hell I wanted and not be worried or precious about anything. So yeah, this was kind of what I did. This is a view from Park Güell. Again, you can see I'm being very experimental here, using colours that I wouldn't normally do. And I really, really loved the art in Barcelona. I really loved that we visited the National Art Museum the first day, because that really inspired me. There was so many bright colours and vividness and just so much energy in the paintings of the Spanish. And it was just, it really kind of inspired me, I think. And that's why I kind of went with this style. Again, Park Güell, just using lots of different mediums and trying stuff out. So I missed a page there. And this was at the beach, and I kind of went for a more soft pastel vibe. Yeah, and then this was the Casa Mia from the outside. I was using those paint sticks that I'm talking about, that I talked about earlier. More of, Gaudi details and, Casa Mia details. And this was stuff that I did back in the hotel room. I kind of just was a bit abstracted and trying to draw my feelings and things like that. Interestingly, this looks a lot like the Sagrada Familia, even though we hadn't gone there at this point, but I thought this was quite interesting when I look at it now. This is some ships or boats that I drew, when we went to see, when we went around, basically, Barcelona. Barcelona is an absolutely gorgeous city. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, and I just love the vibes of it. So yeah, and this is the Sagrada, and I was trying to capture the mosaics, the beautiful light that was coming through them. It was just stunning, absolutely amazing. And then trying to capture the height of the place, basically. Yeah, and I think, again, Sagrada from the outside, or this is the backside, I think. Yeah, and I think that was all the sketches that I did in Barcelona. But yeah, so that is kind of a bit more of an experimental urban sketching book, which I really liked. And also there was some sketches from here that I wanted to show. Yeah, so this is obviously, if you don't know, but this is Picasso. This was one of the paintings I saw. It's of the Mediterranean, one of his paintings. And I was kind of basically trying to recreate it and see what techniques I could learn from it. And it was just really nice to be able to do an abstract urban sketch, which is basically what this is. And I absolutely, I love it. I think it's amazing. And this was a portrait that was in the National Museum of his. I didn't do this on location, obviously. I did this at home. Or actually I did it in an art workshop, same with this. And we were basically trying to make ugly art. And I think Picasso is an artist who, his later works, which are the more famous works, is stuff that you wouldn't understand, but it's very interesting and ironic that it's this ugly artwork that's the most famous and that people know Picasso for. So, you never know what sticks in the art world. But I can kind of see why his ugly artwork or his later artworks are, more famous, because they are basically just subverting the expectation of what art should look like. And as Picasso said, something along the lines of, it took me my whole life to learn how to draw like a child again. So that is something that I'm really resonating with these days. And I think this is also, before we finish, this is just another sketchbook that I am carrying around with me these days. Literally, again, same kind of theme and mood of like using whatever mediums I have, being a bit more experimental, free, making notes in between, thinking about different ideologies, philosophical thoughts, being really experimental and fun and colourful. And that's been really helpful to me, and this is just going back to more traditional sketching styles when I feel like it. Yeah, and that's been it. I mean, to be honest, it's been really wild, and it's really cool now that I think about it, to see how all the different pieces that I have in all the different sketchbooks and pieces fit together, and how experimental I've been, and I've really been enjoying that. And I hope you enjoyed this video as well. It's been insanely long, but with that I will see you, oh god, I don't know when. I like to say next week because that's my usual line, but yeah, I'll see you when I see you for my next video, and I hope you continue to keep making art as well. So yeah, I'll see you.